You're listening to the Monday Night Community Show with Daniel on BRFM.
We're firstly joined with Helen. So, Helen, thank you very much for coming along.
Good evening, Daniel. Thanks for having me. You have to excuse me, I'm a bit out of breath because I cycled up here like a loony.
Well, it looks nice outside, but it's a little bit windy when you get up here.
It is. There's a little bit too windy for sailing as well, unfortunately.
I was wondering if you could start, as you're from the Isle of Sheppey Sailing Club, by telling us a little bit about the club and some of its history.
Yeah, sure. The club is based along Marine Parade between Sheerness and Minster on the seafront there, and it has lots of different types of sailing available. So you've got sea sailing, river sailing, estuary sailing, all in one place. So it makes it quite a unique place in the UK. It started... Well, its concept came about in the early 1960s when a gentleman called Keith Boughton dropped some plans. He was a member of the club at the time that was down in Queenborough, and he actually started the island race, our famous round the island race that we have every year. He dropped the plans, and the club came into being sort of in the early 1960s, and the water out there is obviously fantastic for sailing. They actually trialled the Tornado catamarans there in 1967, so it is rather a unique place in the UK.
So what is your role there?
I'm the Rear Commodore Sailing. Sounds very grand. But actually, it involves quite a lot of work involving members in the sailing programme and setting up the sailing programme for the year. So making sure that when we have an event, or just sailing, like we on a Sunday, we have 3 races every Sunday in the season, that the tides are right and that you time the races to fit the tides. Because mostly you can sail in all tides there. That's another good thing about the club. But, there are times when it's too far out. So I have to be quite careful about how I arrange the programme for sailing, and then we have events throughout the year like the open days or the island race, of course, which is the biggest, most famous one. We've got a new event coming up which is in a couple of weeks' time. Fingers crossed that the weather doesn't put paid to that, but yeah, so that's my role, and sort of welcoming new people into the club and promoting sailing as much as possible.
I think before I ask the next question, you'd left something out from the last one.
Sorry, apologise. The club, just to say, the club has actually been in existence since 1896. That's quite a long time. But our current clubhouse came into being in the early 1960s. So that's what I wanted to add. Yeah, it's been around for a long time.
Now, I know you've got an event coming up in a couple of weeks. I was wondering if you can tell us more about that.
Yeah, well, because the sort of water we've got available to us, it is ideal for like the faster racing boats, and there's a particular style of boat known as the asymmetric. Now that's to do with the type of spinnaker that's on the boat. It's not like a full balloon spinnaker around the front of the boat like you'd normally see.
Right.
It's more to the sides, so it's more like a big genoa, big side sail, but it's still a spinnaker, and it's known as an asymmetric. And these boats are more like the skiff sort of boats that you might see in Australia. They're very fast, and they're designed for quite quick racing. So the water that we've got in front of our club is ideal for this sort of boat, because you can just keep going for miles and miles at great speeds, and with no obstructions. It's ideal. So what we decided to do is, because that's the sort of boat that I sail with my partner, is encourage some more of those types of boats to come along and have a go on our waters just to see how good it is. So we designed this new open called the Asymmetric Open, and it's for boats like the one we sail, which is the Laser 4000, the Cherub, which is another type of asymmetric boat, but very, very small and very flitty. It's quite fun. And the Buzz, the Alto, and the ISOs as well. So there's quite a range of boats we're expecting to turn up, hopefully, and encourage a few more of those types of boats on the water at Sheppey, because it is ideal for it.
Now, one of the things our listeners probably have heard of before is the Round the Island race. I was wondering if you could talk more about
our
that.
most famous race. Good old Keith invented in 1959. It's a really fun race, that is. It's been running for years, and it's very well attended, up to sort of 200, would you say, 200-ish sort of competitors or boats each year, and it's in September. This year it's the 7th of September, and it's on a Saturday, and we don't have any racing the next day because we're all too worn out. So yeah, there are all sorts of boats turn up. It doesn't matter what sort of boat you've got, you can turn up, you can sail around the island, and it's very well organised, very well run, supported very well with a lot of volunteers giving their time for safety boats, for radios, for their yachts. They're on their yachts and offering their time there and refreshments to people who are helping out in the safety boats. It's a lot of work goes into it, but it's a really good fun day, and it takes a long time to get round there depending on what boat you're in, and people have done it in 2 hours. But usually that's in a catamaran. You can do it in a couple of hours, but more like 5 hours to be realistic. So take your lunch in a wet bag with you in the boat, but it's a great day. Yeah, so if you want to come along and take part, come along and take part. There's a fee for taking part. I think it's about £35 £5, so it's not bad for a day out.
And I think last time we spoke, you hadn't long been a winner of People's Millions. I was wondering how that was going for you.
That's right, yeah, that was a great win for us. It's £40,000. And that got used to refurbish the club, mainly in providing disabled facilities. So we had a new disabled toilet and a normal toilet fitted, and the changing rooms downstairs, the females and the male changing rooms, was completely refitted because they were a bit of a state, to be honest with you. So, and because we have events and other people visiting, obviously you can't offer your changing rooms in a state. So that was invested in and to make them more livable and usable. Yeah, so it looks a lot better. Yeah, it's good.
It certainly sounds good. Do you have any other events planned that you'd like to cover this evening?
We're hoping to have an open day at some point, but to be honest with you, at the moment it's a bit tricky because usually we would have been early in the year, but the weather's so bad, it's pointless thinking about an open day at the moment. So it'd probably be something we'll put off to later in the year, think about doing it, and that takes quite a lot of organisation as well. And there's a lot of events going on anyway throughout the calendar. If you wanted to have a look at the website, which is www.iossc.org.uk, there is a listing on the left-hand side of all the different things you can look at, and one of them is events. If you go onto the events, you can see the sailing programme in there, and it's got everything on there that we're doing. And obviously that might be updated and changed through the year, so it's worth checking out every few weeks to see what's going on. And of course we've got our webcams on there as well, which are really useful.
I often take a look at the webcams. So you got a weather station, I think, last time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's very popular. A lot of people look at that. Yeah.
I know just before that record you were talking about an event, but what were the dates for that?
Yeah, that was for the Asymmetric Open that I was mentioning earlier. The dates are the 13th and 14th of April, and it's a full weekend event, and we've got a quiz night on the Saturday night. So if you do fancy coming along, if you know someone who's got an asymmetric boat who wants to come along, there's a fee of £35 for the weekend. Feel free to come along and have some fun with us. Fingers crossed the weather's all right.
So do you do any training at the club?
We do, absolutely. We do adult and child training. Yep, we've got senior instructors resident at the club. At the moment, there is some training set for adults. We haven't got the training dates for the juniors as yet, but as I say, check the sailing programme regularly for that if you are interested. Alternatively, you can contact the club on the email address, which I'll give at the end as well. But the adult training dates at the moment there are 2 sets in May and 2 sets in August. So yeah, there's quite a lot of training available if you're interested. And there's RYA, which is the Royal Yachting Association, levels 1 and 2.
So can people become a member?
Absolutely, yeah. Anyone can become a member. You don't have to have sailed before at all. You don't have to have any experience whatsoever. You can do the training. You don't have to do the training. You can come along and crew for somebody if you like, want to have a go. We do have some boats available for hire for members, and it's about £5 a day, I think, for use of the boats. So there are various options available to you if you just want to come and have a go. There's always someone willing to sort of take you out and see what you think, because there are different types of boats as well. So you might like a catamaran better than a dinghy, you might like a dinghy better than a catamaran, you might like a trapeze boat, which is where you hang out on a wire, you might just want to have a single hander. There's all sorts of things you can try, so there's lots to learn about it. Yeah, but if you want to become a member, again, go to the website and click on membership, which is the top link on the left-hand side list, and all the rates are available. I mean, there are family rates as well, which is obviously a lot cheaper to join as a family, and you can pay by standing order monthly, so you can spread the cost, and it's really reasonable. It's about £138, I think, for a family membership for a year, so it's not going to break the bank, and it's lots of fun. You can also join as a social member if you just want to sort of get a feel for it before committing. So yeah.
Now, I know that you're looking back at the history of the club, and I think you're looking for a photograph from...
That's right, yeah. Apparently, a long time ago, the club was a coal yard. It's a very important coal yard, and the pier that came off for that site was the coal pier for the ship. And a lot of postcards, older postcards, have photographs of this ship. It's quite cool looking old ship, the square rig on the pier. And you can see just about make out the coal yard in the background, but that's all there is. That I haven't actually seen any actual pictures of the coal yard anywhere, or the pier itself. They all seem to be sort of in the distance, and I did wonder if anyone would have any information about that, or have access to any pictures, or know how myself or my partner could get hold of some pictures, or even plans of the coal yard original buildings, because it's just very strange that we can't seem to get any archived footage of the club as it was previously. It's just very faint.
And they can email you, can they, if they'd like to do
Absolutely,
that?
yeah. As I say, the email is info, I-N-F-O, at a sign, iossc.org.uk, and the website, of course, again, is www.iossc.org.uk.
And I was wondering, what makes the island a good place to sail?
Well, apart from being stunningly beautiful, of course, you can actually sail on all states of tide on the island, so that allows you to sail all day. At many clubs, you do not have that opportunity, so we have at least 3 races on a Sunday, and you can basically sail all week if you want. And I do sail in the evening with my partner quite often in the week. Also, there's different types of sailing offered, so you've got estuary sailing, river sailing and sea sailing all in one place, and where else can you get that? Plus you've got on the island, of course, you've heard about the microclimate. Well, we actually do have warmer, generally on average, warmer sea and air temperatures on the island, so well, it's a no-brainer, isn't it, really?
Now, before you go, I was just wondering if you could go over any of those useful contact details for our listeners.
Yeah, sure. Okay, the website again is www.iossc.org.uk, and if you want to email us for any information at all, it's info, so it's INFO, at iossc.org.uk.
Helen, I'd like to thank you very much for coming along and telling us all about how you're getting on at the Isle of Sheppey Sailing Club, and of course some of your forthcoming events as well.
No problem, thank you very much. Can I just say as well, if you're into bigger boat sailing, you've got Queenborough Yacht Club down in Queenborough, and they can be found on Facebook. Thank you.
Thanks. So that is Helen telling us all about the Isle of Sheppey Sailing Club this evening, right here at BRFM.